Good morning. Welcome to a what I eat in a day. You know the drill. First things first. Your body's dehydrated. You need water. Yes, I know I need to change the Brita filter. Flashing red. I'm honestly so thirsty right now. You've heard it time and time again how important it is to be hydrated, and that is so very true. But start right away in the morning. Not only does it help get you ahead, but also it energizes you, it wakes you up. It does a lot of things. It boosts you for the day. Get hydrating right when you wake up. And then after you drink some water, you can reward yourself with some coffee. This what I eat in a day is a little different than the ones I've done. I do these every now and then. And typically when I do them, I do cook because in my normal life, like I do cook fairly often, especially dinners and stuff, whether it's something basic or something more extravagant, I do cook at home a lot. But I want to show you two things today. One, that you don't need protein powder to hit your goals. We're not doing any protein powder today. The only supplement I'm gonna have is some creatine. And two, that, you know, it might be easier to hit your protein goal than you think. You just have to be intentional about things, and you don't always need to go out of your way to cook a lot of things. Everyone eats different, right? I do eat meat, I do eat dairy. You know, this video isn't for everyone out there, but I want to show you some examples of some like easier, almost like lazy-ish type meals that really help your protein goal and are overall good for you. They tend to be on the lower calorie side when they're higher in protein. I'm excited. First things first, coffee. A lot of the times I would start this with protein coffee, but that's not the case for today. I actually haven't done protein coffee super regularly lately. It's just kind of whenever I want it. This is plain black coffee here. I'm just gonna do a little sugar-free maple syrup and a little cream. This is pretty calorie dense, which is why I'm doing kind of like a combination. And then I am gonna do some milk. Normally I wouldn't measure this, but because I want to tell you exactly how much protein I'm having today, I am gonna measure it. And I'll measure everything today so I can give you some stats. I'm gonna go enjoy this. I'm gonna make some breakfast before I go to the gym. Usually I have those protein bagels and I make a whole breakfast sandwich out of it, literally like every single day, but I've only been home from traveling for a few days and I haven't prepped them yet. So my next favorite high protein breakfast is a yogurt bowl. Tried and true, the best. If I'm eating yogurt on its own, I do like to get a flavored one. It just makes it a little better. Not always, but typically I try to. This is vanilla. It is the Oikos brand. 000, there's 17 grams of protein per serving, which is amazing. Otherwise, I will use the Chobani Greek yogurt non-fat plain. Unfortunately, I do think Greek yogurt is something where the brand matters. If you're not new here, you know I honestly do really buy a lot of off-brand things, but Greek yogurt, sometimes you gotta splurge. The texture might be kind of funky, or I don't know. So I do buy name brand Greek yogurt. So I'll go ahead and measure out a serving. And for toppings, I'll do banana, blueberries. Gonna do a tablespoon of peanut butter. I have been making my own peanut butter from home, but I don't have any right now. I should have melted it a little so it's easier to spread. And then I got a comment on my Q&A video I posted recently. I'll put that in the description box if you wanna watch it. But I got a question about fiber, and I say how fiber is genuinely so hard to get in. And someone said such a genius thing. They said, I've been seeing a doctor I follow called Faye Bates talk about her diversity jar, which is such a cool idea. Basically get a jar and add a ton of plant foods to it, like different types of seeds, nuts, etc. And then sprinkle some on meals throughout the day to up your intake of different nutrients. And I think that is so cool. So far, I only have chia seeds and flaxseed. These would be great to start in a little diversity jar. I totally forgot you're supposed to soak these. Okay, I'm gonna soak a little bit of these, I guess, for like 10 minutes. I think that's the minimum you have to soak them. I'm just gonna do a tablespoon worth. Add a little water and let them sit for 10 minutes. But I figured a yogurt bowl would be such a great thing to add stuff from your diversity jar to. I've only ever purchased the actual seeds before, but at my grocery store, they only had the flaxseed meal. I hope that's okay, and I hope it's still gonna taste fine. But so I'm gonna add a serving of this to my yogurt bowl, and then once the chia seeds are ready, I'll add those too. And not only did I up my protein intake, but also both of these have fiber, which is awesome. I think that idea is just such a cool thing, and maybe I'll take these and add them to a jar. But because you have to soak chia seeds, I don't know if that would make sense to do in a single jar. I don't know, but I love the idea and I love the premise. And whenever I'm cooking something that's good for dunks, of course, He gets a little. Good job. Take a bite. There. Do you like bananas? You like everything. Here you go. Good job. And some blueberries. Wait. Good. Get it? Good job. Some antioxidants for you. You know who else would love the diversity jar idea is my dietitian. I'm so big on protein because there's just so many things for you. Lately, I've been trying to make sure to include more micronutrients and fiber. Like there's just so many things that really add to a well-rounded, complete diet. And I still have protein powder, don't get me wrong, but I've been trying to have less things like that and more just whole foods because you just benefit way more from whole foods all around. Like there's no denying that. And I've talked to a registered dietitian through Nourish, which is the sponsor of today's video. So big thank you to Nourish. I have worked with them several times in the past. I think they're super awesome. It really is the easiest way to find and speak to a registered dietitian. You can do it from anywhere, just over Zoom, and you can work on anything. So whether you want to get super specific, like I've been talking about micronutrients lately, or you want to work on something more, you know, mentally heavy, maybe like an eating disorder or so many different things. Maybe talking about how to eat to support, you know, weight loss, gut health, women's health. No matter where you are in whatever journey, there will be someone for you that can help you. And Nourish does work with insurance, which is amazing. They accept hundreds of insurance plans through all 50 states, and 94% of Nourish patients pay $0 out of pocket. Signing up is super easy, takes like 5 minutes. And no matter your goals, it really helps you with lifelong skills. Learning about eating and food, I feel like is harder than it should be. And so it's awesome to have more accessible ways of talking to a dietitian to help you with whatever you need. And just live a long, high quality life feeling good because food is such a large part of how you feel. And I love the idea of thinking about this as proactive healthcare, which I've definitely mentioned before. I just want to feel good and I just want you to feel good. Click my link in the description box to book your first appointment. Now to add in some chia seeds, I definitely added too much water, so I just tried straining it out. Looks honestly pretty gross, but hopefully it tastes good or just like blends in with everything. Not the prettiest yogurt bowl, but I'm gonna end up mixing it all together anyway, so it's fine. I really don't mind the chia seeds at all, actually. This is really good. Oh, when you get a salad bite of peanut butter, that's when it's really good. Mmm. Good boy. Electrolytes and creatine every day. Electrolytes for hydration, energy, etc., and creatine for recovery, for brain health, for muscles, for a lot of stuff. And making a drink gets you to drink more water. Cheers. For lunch, we're doing a tuna salad. If you like or can tolerate tuna, this is such a good option. It's so good for the macros, honestly. I know some people even do like sardines. I don't think I've ever tried sardines, but if you don't like tuna, swap out chicken, swap out just something. I was looking at the grocery store. There was two different options. So this one is 16 grams of protein. This one is 35. However, it is like double the calories. So it's almost like it's 2 servings. But I think I might want to use this one because my breakfast only got me like 20 some grams of protein, and it's really good to aim for like 30 per meal. So if I have a little bit of a heavier lunch, that might help me by the end of the day. See, and sometimes you can find like little higher protein options that you might not even know exist. I'm gonna show you one later, but also, for example, if you get single serving Greek yogurt cups, I've seen ones that are literally 20 grams in one little cup. I never knew that existed until recently when I saw it on the shelf, and I'm like, that's crazy. Of course, it's a little bit more pricey than the normal one, but if you're needing to up your protein, like it might just be worth it. Let's open the big pack. I also do have the regular cans that aren't the packets, and those are 22 grams of protein, at least the one I have. So tuna really ranges, honestly. Just gonna put this right into a bowl. Not really showing it to you because it looks kind of weird. And then I'm gonna add about half a serving of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese and Greek yogurt are really awesome things to incorporate into meals to up the protein. I am gonna do a little bit of light mayo. I feel like people either love or hate mayo. I'm a mayo lover, I can't even lie. I also feel like when people hear mayo, they think it's like a million calories. One serving of light mayo is 35. And I'm like, you know what? For a little bit of flavor, and I just genuinely love mayo, it's worth it. It's not that bad. Because when you do have goals, you have to be realistic, right? But you can't make your food boring. You don't want to hate what you're eating, or you're just gonna be miserable. I'm gonna add a little Dijon mustard. a little salt and pepper, mix it together. Cottage cheese is a dog approved food, so we are gonna be sharing. And then I cut up a red onion, which is just good to have prepped in the fridge anyway. So I'm gonna add a little to my bowl. I feel like with this type of salad, people will do onion, tomato, cucumber, stuff like that. I don't have cucumbers, but what I do have is pickles. I'm not the biggest pickle person, but when I was grocery shopping a few days ago, I was like, you know what? Pickles could be good as a snack to dip in cottage cheese because they're flavored. I like pickles, I'm just not someone who's like crazy about them and puts them on everything. Or to a tuna salad, it could also add flavor and add a crunch like a cucumber. I mean, it is a cucumber, right? It's just a flavored cucumber. So that's the other thing too, is like just because you're maybe modifying a vegetable, it's still a vegetable. Like if you're eating carrots, but you're dipping them in something, you're still eating the carrot. So I feel like it's important to eat good foods, even if you want to change them a little bit to make them go down easier. Like at the end of the day, it is important to get in nutrients no matter how you do it. I hope that made sense. But so I'm just quickly chopping it up small. Sorry, I didn't move the camera angle. But chopping up some pickles for some added crunch. Throw those in there. And if you want to go a little crazy, you can add some pickle juice for flavor. So this is a tuna salad, right? I feel like a lot of people would put this on a sandwich or maybe crackers. You know, it is good, but like by itself, it's like, it's almost a little too much tuna. And so I'm just gonna add some croutons right in the bowl. And so here is lunch. It may not look glamorous. You know what? It actually does not look glamorous at all, but super great nutritionally. A lot of protein. It's gonna fill me up. And so easy. Like if you have things prepped or cut up or whatever in your fridge, this is super easy to throw together or pack to take somewhere for lunch. Again, I know not everyone likes tuna, but if you can handle it, this is great. Or swap it out for chicken. Do an egg salad with this, something like that. I think this is a great lunch option. High protein and easy, and that's the goal of today. It is latte time. I pretty much always have a regular coffee in the morning and then an iced latte in the afternoon. I like using mason jars for my iced lattes because it is a sturdy glass, but also there's measurements on the side, and I know my ratio of like milk and stuff. Today we're doing the Chobani Caramel Macchiato Coffee Creamer. I did use a little bit of this morning. I'm gonna use about 2 tablespoons now and add a little sugar-free maple syrup just to sweeten it a little bit more and bring out the flavor. Again, this really is calorie dense, this stuff. It's great ingredients, but I don't want my coffee being 1,000,000 calories because I simply just don't need that in my life. So if I can make it a better way, I'm gonna do it. No harm in that. Again, it's about being realistic and aware, but not letting it consume you, obsess about it, whatever. And I have come a long way, okay? So depending on you and your relationship with food and everything, it really just depends. And I am showing you specific measurements, increments, whatever, because I do want to show you some stats at the end of the day, like I mentioned. I use this pod in my Nespresso. It's Iced Leggero. It's a double shot designed for iced drinks. And I'll brew it right into the mixture at the bottom. We'll give that a little mix. I truly love my Nespresso so much. I got it Black Friday of 2021 or 2. I don't know, but I've had it for a few years. This is at about a 1/2 cup. So then I add Fairlife milk till it hits a full cup, and I know I'm drinking a 1/2 cup of Fairlife, and this is important because not only is that the ratio I just want in my coffee for how it tastes, but also I know that's technically 6.5 more grams of protein, which is amazing. I love using high protein milk. Yes, it's more expensive. However, the expiration date is much longer, and this is lactose free if you have a problem with that, and higher protein. Sneak it in wherever you can. I don't know why my ice machine in my freezer is always broken, but we'll add ice. Maintenance came to look at it literally in the early June, I think, and it's already broken again, so I don't know. But I have ice trays, so that's good. And I know it's gonna be good because it is every time. It is so good. It is so good. Just oof. I haven't used this flavor creamer in a long time, and I'm really happy that's the one I went with. It's very good. I usually have a snack at some point today. Something I've been having a ton lately, which kind of goes off of what I was talking about earlier, is I'll take a string cheese, and I found that there's a pack of string cheese at my grocery store that literally says on it 33% more protein. So sometimes there just are those options out there and you just have to look for them. It may or may not be beneficial to just find something that's higher protein. You know, like either way I was gonna buy string cheese. Actually, the higher protein one even has less calories, so that's like a win all around. But a snack I do very often is I take a string cheese and I wrap it with a slice of prosciutto. I think there's about 4 grams of protein in this and 8 in the string cheese. So that's 12 grams for just a snack. I haven't been as hungry today. I've had a headache for like 2 days, so I've just been feeling kind of funky. And due to that, my activity has been lower today, which means I'm not as hungry. So I just wanted to show you that snack example. I try to incorporate good snacks in my vlogs too, so keep up with the vlogs, but this is one of my go-tos I have like pretty much every single day. Otherwise, let's move on to dinner. It is time for dinner. We are pretty good about having shredded chicken in the fridge pretty often. Just throw chicken breast in the oven and then I shred it in the KitchenAid. So a simple, quick meal that I'm gonna whip together tonight is shredded chicken. I'm gonna do enough to get about 22 ounces of protein, and then I'm gonna add half a serving of Greek yogurt and some taco sauce and mix this together. And this alone is 30 grams of protein, which is great because aiming for 30 per meal is a good strategy. Sometimes I'll also add cheese to this, but honestly, I just don't feel like it. I'm just not that hungry. I can't shake this headache for whatever reason it is. I'll chop up some greens. I swear they're just better to eat when everything's in little pieces. This is just some random mix of a couple different kinds of leafy greens. Grab an HEB butter tortilla. If you know, you know. Half an avocado. I'm pretty sure avocado is a great source of fiber. And add our chicken, essentially chicken like taco mixture right on top. Eat it like a flat thing or roll it up depending on how much you have. I did something similar yesterday. I just like randomly whipped it together. Not that this is like super genius of a meal, but it's yummy and quick and easy and high protein. There is 33 grams of protein in this, and that's the goal, right? It really just does the job and I like it. I forgot to add some greens. Might as well get a little bit more nutritional value in there, you know? There we go. We washed Duncan, and then since then I've just been editing, doing emails, actually very productive, and it's been great. But I remembered when we were at the grocery store earlier this week, I picked up some Olipop. I don't buy this regularly, but every now and then I'll grab a can or two as like a little treat. And I have the cream soda. I feel like I've tried this one before, but I can't remember if I like it. And then I have a friend who like is kind of obsessed with ginger ale. And I honestly couldn't tell you if I've ever even had a regular can of ginger ale, but they have an Olipop flavor of ginger ale. So I was like, you know what? Let's try it. So that's what we're gonna do. I also won't be able to tell you if the Olipop ginger ale tastes like the regular soda ginger ale because I don't know what that tastes like. It reminds me of a Moscow Mule. Like it reminds me of ginger beer, you know? I guess it's not a bad thing. Also, is there actual ginger in it? Because ginger's good for your stomach. I actually also bought ginger root. I was thinking about putting this in tea later, but maybe I don't need all that ginger. I mean, it's fine. Will I get it again? Probably not. I'd probably get a different flavor. 9 grams of dietary fiber though. That's actually like a shit ton. I can't even lie. My fiber today has probably been pretty awesome. I am over 100 grams of protein, which is exciting. I was even thinking that I would need like a Ninja Creamy or something to kind of help me hit my protein goal today without protein powder or anything like that, but I hit it. I would say for me like 120 grams would probably be peak, but I always try to at least get over 100. I think I'm at like 105 right now. There's no protein in this. I might have dates and peanut butter as a little treat. Dessert situation. Okay, back to work. To end the night, a date and honey peanut butter. The total at the end of the day is 107 grams of protein, which is pretty great for no protein powder. However, if I was moving more throughout the day, I definitely would have had my prosciutto and string cheese snack, which would have upped it a significant amount. So this is your reminder that if you want to eat and hit more protein, you know, your activity can really help you out. And for the fiber, the largest contributors aside from the Olipop were my avocado and my chia seeds. So just 2 things to know if you're really trying to work on your fiber intake. I do have a fiber supplement that I'll use every now and then. Obviously, I didn't have it today. Overall, pretty good day, especially for a low activity level. I turned the lid off because it makes me too orange. I've been doing a lot of peppermint tea lately. I think it's so nice to take into bed at night. Preferably not too late, otherwise I'll be getting up to pee a bunch, but I swear it does so much good for my stomach. I just wake up feeling better. I don't know, it's almost like nature has a way with things. So I just made peppermint tea. I'm gonna let it sit for 10 minutes and then take it into bed. And that's it for my what I eat in a day. Be sure to check the link in my description box and book your first appointment with Nourish. They are super, super awesome. I've worked with them several times and they have me coming back because they're great. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you in my next one.